Yeah, I've taken no safety precautions in my steroid use. I think back in the day when I was hitting it, first cycle was 0.5 gram a week of test C for 6 months straight. I mean,
I was going to say that's pretty typical, and they said 6 months. So
yeah, we pushed it to the limit there, and then came off with PCT. I think I did both. What is it, clomiphene, and then the other one as well. But, yeah, but coming off that was an emotional time. That encouraged me.
Especially if you're on it for 6 months, your brain is used to that level of testosterone.
That's pretty high, right, for a first cycle for that long?
Yeah, like a typical newbie cycle, at least back in when I first learned about this, 500 milligrams, 0.5 gram is pretty, it's typical. I would argue it's probably a little bit high for somebody that's brand new that could otherwise get their feet a bit wet with a slightly lower dose, but the dosage itself wasn't crazy. It was more, I guess, the duration and then maybe the way you went about coming off, because the typical like classic PCT regimen is really outdated and not really designed to feel great in that transition process, especially if you're, I don't know if you were back on right after the PCT kind of thing or took some time off. Like, what was the transition?
Oh yeah, so I did 6 months straight, and then I came off because actually 6 months of that dose I started to feel not that healthy. So I did the PCT, then felt emotionally unhealthy. Then I competed in ADCC, and then I entered a tournament that was an open weight tournament, and my weight had dropped back down. So what I did was I was in San Diego, and I just crossed the border into Mexico. Went to the pharmacy there, was like, I better get back on, bought some tests. Was like, do you guys have a bathroom? Went into their bathroom, slammed it into the quad. I think that would have been 2 mils into the quad, and that's how I started the cycle again. That I never really came off since that point in 2017. Just varying dosages, because the PCT did not feel good.
Yeah, it's I think becoming more widely understood that if you're gonna be somebody who's taking this stuff long term for competitive purposes or in like a bodybuilding aspect, in general, the old like cycling dogma doesn't really work the best sustainably. Like if you were to do one course for a specific thing and you had no intention of going back on again in the near future, okay, the cycle off might make sense with a more well thought out and modern PCT protocol, but like the transition in general for guys who are going on, crashing themselves, coming off, trying to recover, and then right when they recover and their blood work looks okay, they then jump back on, and going back and forth is arguably worse than just staying on baseline replacement.
I feel like it's not good for people's mental health that do those like cycle on and off. Like it's up,
it's like
down, up,
and
down.
even like the pressure on your heart, your blood pressure wildly fluctuating all the time. And yeah, the level of androgens that you get used to just like feel normal, because you acclimate at some point. Like I know most people, I'm sure you can probably attest to this too, when you first start, you feel the like insane libido push, everything's kind of like new, and your brain is stimulated to a level it has not experienced. But then after a couple of months, you sort of acclimate to it and it becomes your new normal. You don't really feel like as discernibly different as you did at the start. Like the ravenous libido and stuff, it's not as insane after you get really deep into this lifestyle. But when you pull that stuff out, like you've been used to that level of hormone in your brain for, years maybe, depending on the person, and to just like deprive yourself to literally like castrate levels just like that, yeah, it's not favorable typically.
Yeah, not healthy. Actually, I won't say his name, but someone I used to train with, his testosterone doctor was just someone that used to sleep with bodybuilders, and that's where this person got their knowledge from. And I remember the person in question had some health problems at the time, and doctors were asking them, what are you taking? Like, what's your stack?
Okay, so let me get this straight. So this lady is sleeping with bodybuilders and learning about how hormones work indirectly while fucking these guys, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you take it? Oh, I'm gonna, take that knowledge and then.
She's a recipient of testosterone from these guys as well.
Yeah.
But that's where they went to Bro Science University, and when this person that they were giving testosterone to started to have health problems, the doctors were like, what's he taking at what dosages? She was basically like, I look at him every day and I know what he needs.
Oh, wow. That's difficult to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was wild, but I still don't know exactly what they were taking, but like, I obviously some people have busted out some tren in jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
but I think it's probably not a good one for jiu-jitsu, right?
No, it seems to have like an odd side effect that inhibits your cardiovascular endurance. Like some people, when they take it, they note that, especially in bodybuilding prep, you have to increase your cardio in order to lose more fat to get stage ready. They find, in general, there's like almost a dose-dependent inhibition of cardiovascular endurance capacity while you're using it, and then they'll use drugs like cardarine to offset it and other things that could help them maintain the volume they need to do the output of cardiovascular work. But it's pretty counterintuitive for a BJJ athlete, in my opinion, for most people. It depends on the dosage, of course, how you respond, because some people, drugs at the end of the day, everyone responds differently. You might have a guy who's exceptionally well responding to X compound, and then another guy gets sick and can't even eat his meals every day when he takes it. So it depends on the person to some extent, but in general, I would say tren is kind of like, I don't know, I think it's more of like a bodybuilding powerlifter-esque drug than a BJJ ideal drug.
I've heard some rumors that trenbolone can probably make you a bit bi-curious.
Yeah, it seems to be the case.
That's real.
Well, it's not like it's documented in actual literature, but it's like anecdotally, we've seen enough times now that bodybuilders, and again, you could argue a bunch of different things that contribute to this, but in general, you see almost like a skewing, and this isn't in everyone, because I know these clips end up getting taken, and I've even been guilty of this, of course, too, saying like, Tren made this guy gay, or like whatever. You've seen the Reddit stories. But in general, there's like a spectrum of sexuality where it's like you're totally straight or you're totally gay, and then sort of like there's this in between. And often you see kind of deviation in sexual appetite for things that are not traditionally what your normal is, and whether this starts with escalating levels of like hardcore pornography, which then leads to, you know, the thing you need now to get the dopamine hit is this in real life or something. Like you just see this kind of transpire in the bodybuilding world, powerlifting world, and it's not uncommon to see, you know, bodybuilders make a trip to Thailand. And
so what I'm hearing is basically this would be advantageous for my match against Gabby Garcia.
maybe, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Honestly, it just sounds to me, this anecdotal evidence is a bunch of guys that went to Thailand, got busted, and needed a good excuse.
That could be possible too.
But
Yeah, like in general, it's the argument is, well, they were already like that, and this sort of just like uncovered it. But even if that is the case, at the end of the day, you weren't behaving like that previously. So it's kind of like however you want to interpret the anecdote, that's fine. But it's not normal that you watch hentai like 6 times a day now. You know,
you tell that to my cameraman. I mean, maybe it just gave them the confidence to pursue their real dreams, but
yeah, maybe.
Tren, I've never tried Tren. Maybe it's out of the fear of those stories, but I guess the craziest one I've tried was halo testing.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the strongest ones, right?
Yeah, like it depends what you're using it for and what the dosage you're using is.
I just heard it made your dick bigger.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like hypothetically, if you had better blood flow and libido or sensitivity, like there are certain things you could drive that I could see that maybe happening, but it's more of like it's not like a unique effect to the drug that I am familiar with, or I think is actually.
So I've been lied to.
Maybe, I don't know. Like the only thing that could actually make your dick bigger in adulthood is actual DHT cream, probably, like actually applied.
Where's my notebook?
This is point 2. We're calling an octopus guard. Across the board, I don't want you to think of it as a guard. It's not a guard, it's not a closed guard, it's not a half guard. It is a position that we are moving at all times. We're hitting tipping points, tilting points, we're making them chase us and onto us, shoot for submissions and pins that aren't really there. So again, although we're calling it Octopus Guard 2.0, try not to think of it as a guard, think of it as an ongoing scramble. That is a problem that is hard for them to solve, and we're going to have sort of answers for all the options and all the risks we take along the way.